Hi everyone, this is our division part 2. Okay, and good luck for your ETA. Okay, let's try this one here. I'll give you 3 examples. Alright, you can try it yourself, and then you have to pause the video, and then I'll give you the answer afterward. Alright, so let's try to answer the following negative exponents here. So when I say that find the value of 2 to the power of negative 4, and then 3 to the power of negative 2, 5 to the power of negative 2, and 4 to the power of negative 3, all we have to do is to make the exponent positive first. Alright, the first thing that we're gonna do is to change the the negative exponent into a positive. And how are we gonna do that? We have to do the reciprocal. That means to make it into a positive, you have to find the reciprocal. That means it becomes like this: 1 over 2 to the power of 4. Right? That's it. The exponent is positive. However, the question here is, if the question says find the value, find the value. All right, that means you're gonna have to simplify this one. So this means that 1 over 2 to the power of 4 is equal to 2 to the power of 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? Because the exponent is 4, so you have to multiply 2 by itself 4 times, and which is equal to what? 1 over 16. So the answer for this question is this, and this is the working. All right, that's the working solution. Next, let's go to the next one. We have 3 to the power of negative 2. So what we're gonna do here is we need to change it into a positive exponent, so that becomes 1 over 3 to the power of 2. Alright, and then since the exponent is positive 2 now, we have to find the value. So what we're gonna do here is we have to 1 over 3 times 3. 3 times 3, you have to multiply 3 by itself 2 times. So your 3 times 3 becomes 1 over 9. So the answer for this is this one. Alright, so we have 5 to the power of negative 2. We need to change the exponent into a positive exponent. So it becomes 1 over 5 squared. And that becomes 1 over 5 times 5. And then that becomes 1 over 25. And then we have 1 over 4 to the power of 3. Alright, that becomes 1 over 4 times 4 times 4. And then 1 over 64. That is our answer for this one. So the problem says you write the following in standard form. Of course, we know that the standard form, it must be what? The standard form must be greater than 1 but less than, greater than 1 but less than 10, right? That's your standard form here, the numbers. And then after that, all right, we just have to, okay, let's start with number 1 first. All right, so what we're gonna do here is to put the decimal between what? 5 and 6. Why? Because 5.66 is going to make the value greater than 1 and less than 10. Also, we have to put it here. All right, afterwards we have to count the number of decimal place going to the original number, which is what? Going to the go to the original position of the decimal point, which is going to the left. All right, so that becomes 1 2 3. That means we have 3 units to the left. That means 5.66 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Why negative 3? Because we counted to the left. All right, and remember, so that you will not get confused, just think of this. All right, the original value is what? Less than 1. It's less than 1. That means the exponent must always be negative if the original value is less than 1. All right, now for the next question here, basically the value here is greater than 1. All right, so what we're gonna do here is basically the exponent here is positive. Now the question here is, where is the original decimal point here? The decimal point is here, correct? Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put the decimal point there, which to make it become 5.65, correct? Less than 10, greater than 10, and then let's go to the original place value: 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, so that means times 10 to the power of positive 6, not negative 6. Do you understand that? Because the original value is greater than 1. Now you know this one is the original value is less than 1. So basically the exponent here, the times 10 exponent is going to be negative. Now we have to make it into 4.47. Question, how many decimal place value? Alright, so we have 1, 2. So that means negative 2. Alright. Okay, let's go to this one here. 1/2 of 50 is equal to what? Now, let's say, what does it mean by the word of here? Of means times, all right? This means times, all right? When you see the word 1/2 of something, or 1/3 of something, or 1/4 of something, the of here means times, all right? That means 1/2 times 50. And 50 is a whole number. You have to change it into a fraction. That becomes 50 over 1, right? Now, multiplying fractions, so we have to 1 times 50, that becomes 50, and 2 times 1, that becomes 2, right? But you have to simplify it. And we both know that 50 over 2 is the same as 50 divided by 2, which is equal to 25. So basically, 1/2 of 50 is 25. Let's try another example here. So we have 1/3 of 60 AED. So basically of means times, right? And then 60 AED is a whole number, so we have to change it into a fraction. That becomes 60 over 1 is the same as 60, correct? So and then multiply it. 1 times 60 is 60. 1 times 3 is equal to 3. So that means 60 over 3 is the same as 60 divided by 3, which is equal to 20. What is the unit? AED. So 1/3 of 60 AED is 20 AED. Another example. 2/5 of $50 means, so this becomes times. All right, 2/5 of 50 becomes 2 over 5 times 50, and 50 is a whole number, so you have to make it into fraction. That means over 1. Now multiply 2 over 50. 2 times 50 is equal to 100. And then 5 times 1 is equal to 5. And then 50 over 5, 100 over 5 is the same as 100 divided by 5, which is equal to 20. And the unit there is dollars. Alright, so that means 2/5 of 50 is $20. Okay, just a quick review of the area of triangle. We both know the area of triangle is 1/2 base times height. This is our base, this is our height. So area is equal to 1/2 times base, which is 6, times height, which is 4. So basically area is equal to 1/2. 6 times 4 is 24. Alright, and then 1/2 times 24 is equal to 12. And the unit here is meter, so it should be meter squared. Okay, let's round this off to the number of significant figures. Now, if the question says round off to a particular number of significant figures, for example, round this number into 2 significant figures, or 3 significant figures, or 4 significant figures, that's what you're gonna do. For example, let's do the 2 significant figures here. We know that the first significant figure is 7, and the second significant figure is 6. All right, now we are going to focus on this because we're talking about this 2 significant figures. All right, now in this case here, what is the next number after 6? It's 0. So basically 0 is 4 or is less than 5. All right, basically if if the next number is less than 4 or less than 4, basically 6 here will remain 6, and the rest becomes and the rest is cancelled. All right, that means removed it. All right, now what have you noticed here? How many significant figures here do we have now? We have 7.6. So basically we have 7.6 here. All right, because we only need 2 significant figures. Next, so we have 7.6. Next, if we're gonna look at this one here, it says 3 significant figures. Our first significant figure is 7, second significant figure is 6, and our third significant figure is 0. Remember, the 0 here is a significant figure because 0 is between 2 non-zeros, which is 6 and 9. All right, now our third significant figure here is 0. The next number after 0 is 9, and 9 is greater than 4. So all numbers that are equal to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you have to add 1 here. So that becomes 1, correct? Your 0 becomes 1. And what are you going to do with the rest of the question here? This because you have to remove it. Just cancel it out. Alright, now so our answer here will become 7.61. Remember, we need 3 significant figures, so it should be 7.61. Remember, 3 significant figures. Next, it says here round to 4 significant figures. Now, if you're going to look at this one here, our 4th significant figure here is 9, correct? The next number after 9 is 6, correct? Now, what are we gonna do? We have to round 9 to what? Remember, 6 is greater than 5. So what we're gonna do here is add 1 here, correct? Plus 1. So that means 9 plus 1 is 10. So this is 10, 0. And this becomes what? 1. You understand? Now, so basically it should be 7.61. But says here a 0, alright, significant figures. We have 4 significant figures, so you have to add another 0 there to make it 4 significant figures. Because remember, all the numbers after the decimal, all the zeros after the decimal point are all significant. Alright, let's try number 2 here. If please pause the video and try to answer it yourself. Alright? Okay, now let's find the answer. Let's find the answer here. We have 9. It says here on to 2 significant figure. Our second significant figure here is 8. The next number is 0, which is less than 4. So basically 8 remains the same and the rest is cancelled out. Alright, so we have 9.8. And remember, we have to stick to the given here or to the question, which is 2 significant figure. Next, we have to change it into or round it off to 3 significant figures. Our third significant figure here is 0, and the next number after that is 9. So what we're gonna do here is to add 1 here and drop everything off. Alright, so that becomes 9.81. There are 3 significant figures is now 1, 2, 3. Alright, next let's go to 4 significant figures. Hang on. Alright, now our 4th significant figure, our first, second, third, 4th significant figure is 9. The next number is 7, which is greater than 4. Alright, so basically we have to add 1 here. That means 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. So this is 10, carry 1 over there, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So this becomes 1. Alright, so our answer here must become what? It must become 9.81, correct? And drop everything here. So it's 9.81, but they're looking for 4 significant figure. You just have to add another 0 here to make it 4 significant figure, and that's your answer right there. All right. Now let's try to answer this one here. Let's try to remember the area parallelogram. Parallelogram. All right. So the formula for area of the parallelogram is base times height. But the question, but the problem here, what if area is given, but you're asked to find the base or either the base or the height? So for example, we have your base here as let's say 4, and then your area is, let's say, 24, all right, meter squared. All right, find the height. That means find height, correct? Now what we're gonna do here is what? Area, now your area is 24 meters squared, so 24 meters squared is equal to base. Our base is 4, all right, meters. However, your height is not given because that's what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do here is just divide 24 by 4 to be able to find the h. So we have 4m to 4m, let's cancel. H or height is equal to 6 meters. All right, why? Because 6 times 4, because 6 times 4 is equal to 24, which is the area. All right, Now, for example, if you're asked to find the area, you just have to multiply base times height. But if your area is given, all right, if your area is given, and also the other dimension which is either height or base, you just have to divide the area by the given dimension. All right, next. Our volume in the cuboid is a 3D-dimensional figure, all right, which has length, width, and height. All you have to do is to multiply length, width, and height. That's it. For example, if your length is, let's say, 3, if your height is, let's say, 4, and if your width, let's say, 2, all you have to do, you just have to multiply all of them to find the area. Area is equal to, your length is 3 times 4 times 2, which is equal to 24 cubic centimeter or cubic meter. Let's say, for example, this is centimeter, centimeter, centimeter. It should be cubic. All right, the unit must be centimeter cube, all right, or meter cube, or whatever the unit there is. All right, let's try to expand the following brackets here. What we're gonna do here is what we call the distribution. All right, to expand the bracket, we have to distribute each of the variable being multiplied. For example, 2 times quantity of x plus y, all we have to do is distribute it. 2 times x and 2 times y, which is equal to 2x plus 2y. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times y is 2y. Next, have you noticed, if you haven't noticed from this one, only 4 is multiplied to this, so all we have to do is just ignore 6 for now. All right, now expand the brackets. All right, okay, but before we expand the bracket, we can just rewrite 6x here, because 6 doesn't need to be multiplied to any of those. So we have 6x, all right, and then 4 times x, 4 times x, that would be positive 4x, all right, because 4 is positive and x is positive here, so that's positive 4x. And then 4 times negative 5, that would be equal to negative 20. And then let's combine like terms here. Combine like terms. We have 6x plus 4x, that's equal to 10x minus 20. All right, that's your final answer here. You have to combine these two. That becomes 10x. All right, let's try to answer number 3 here. So we have to distribute it again. So 5x times x, which is equal to 5x squared, and 5x times 3 which is equal to 15x. That's your answer. You can never add them because their exponent or the degree of the exponent is different. So that is your answer over there. All right, let's try this simple problem here. Like, for example, I think of a number. When you say I think of a number, that means you're thinking of an unknown number. That means a number that is not known yet. That means you have to represent this number as a variable. All right. Say, for example, I think of a number. Let's say I think of an x. All right. I tripled it. That means what's the answer now? That means 3 times something, all right? And then add 5. And my answer is 32. There's a problem there, correct? I think of a number that would be x. I tripled it 3 times and add 5, and my answer is 32. So all you have to do is, what should you multiply to 3 and then add 5 to make it into 32? So all we have to do is solve the equation now. So that becomes 3x is equal to 32 minus 5. 3x is equal to 27. Divide both sides by 3. By 3, your x is equal to 9. So let's check this one if does it actually correct. I think of a number, let's say that number is 9. I tripled it. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 5, the answer is 32. So that's how you're going to solve this kind of problem. Let's use the word double instead of triple. So you say I think of a number and I doubled it, add 5, and my answer is 33. Now I want you to pause the video and answer it yourself first. Okay, let's try to answer it together. After you, if you think you got the correct answer, the answer there should be 14. But let's try. So I think of a number that is x. I doubled it, so that means twice, and add 5, and my answer is 33. Let's check. So that becomes 28 to x. Divide both sides by 2. That becomes x is equal to 14. That's it. Okay, how did 33 become 28? We minus 5. Minus 5. All right. Okay, let's try this identity here, which is the sum and difference of two binomial, multiplying them. So what we're gonna do here, so if you have noticed, their terms are exactly the same here, correct? So this is 3x, this is 3x, the other one is 2, and the other one is, the only difference is this one is plus and this one is minus, correct? If you see something a similarity like that, the identity that you need to follow is like this. So it should be a plus b times a minus b. That would be equal to a squared minus b squared. So it says here that you just have to square the first term and square the last term, and then it should be minus. All right. For example, here, square the first term, which is 3 squared. Square the last term, which is 2 squared. All right, and it should be minus. That's it. That's your answer. And then simplify. So when we simplify, we distribute this. This is what we call product of a power, or power of a product. So that becomes 3 squared, x squared, and then minus, what is this? 4, right? Simplify again. 3 squared is 9 squared, and then x squared minus 4. So that's the answer for the first question. Let's go to the next question. So it should be 5 squared, alright, because I squared the first term, and then square the last term. And then we just have to put minus in between, and then simplify. 5 squared is 25, and then minus 4x squared. Alright, this kind of solution only works for sum and difference of binomials. The story changes when it becomes squaring binomials. Alright. Okay, let's try to multiply fractions. Alright, 3 fractions multiplied together. For most of you, what you're gonna do here is actually to multiply 3 by 12 by 6, all right, which is something, and then 9 times 14, and then times 17, which is over something, right? That is actually also correct. However, that's going to be a long process, and you still have to simplify that, and you're going to get a bigger number. So what we're gonna do instead is to simplify first before we multiply those numbers. So let's try to cancel this one here. We can cancel 1 and 3 and 9, so that becomes 1 and 3rd, right? And then we can actually cancel here as well the 6 and 14. We can simplify then. That becomes equal to, let's say, 3 over 7, right? Divide both of them by 2. Next, is there anything that we can cancel? Yes, there is. There's something that we can cancel out more. We have 3 and 3, so that becomes 1 and 1, right? Is there anything else? Let's see. Nothing else. So all we have to do is just multiply. 1 times 12, all right, is equal to 12 times 1 is equal to, well, 12. All right, next we have 1 times 7 is equal to 49. We cannot simplify them anymore because there is no common factors between 12 and 49. So your answer here is 12 over 49. If you want to simplify, you can, but it cannot simplify this anymore. Alright, remember that before you multiply numbers or in a fraction, you have to simplify or cancel them out first before you multiply, so that your life will be a lot easier. Now let's say here, let's say find the nth term and the 40th term of the given sequence here. The first thing that we need to find the nth term is use the formula, right? And the formula is a sub n is equal to a sub 1, or the first term, plus d times n minus 1. That is our formula here, and we're looking for this, right? The nth term. The first thing that we need to do is to identify the first digit, which is 10, correct? That's our first number, in the series, so that is 10. Plus, what is your d? Your d here is a common difference. what is the common difference between? How do we find the common difference? So that means how did 10 become 17, and how did 17 become 24, and then 24 become 31? So basically you added 7, correct? Times what? They're looking for n terms, so you just have to leave it as an n minus 1. After that, simplify. So we have our a sub n, or a n term, 10 plus 7 times n, which is equal to 7n, and 7 times negative 1, which is equal to negative 7. And then combine like terms, which is equal to 10 minus 7 is equal to what? 3, right? Plus 7n, or 7n plus 3. That's your nth term. Next, our problem here is asking for the 40th term. What is the 40th term of the sequence? Alright, all we have to do is to change, go back to the nth term now, and change n is equal to 40, correct? That's it. So we have a sub 40, or the 40th term, and our n is 40 here, so you have to multiply this by 40 plus 3, which is equal to 280 plus 3. 283 plus 3 is equal to 283. So basically your nth term is 200, or your 40th term is 283. That's it. Alright, let's try this one as an example. Form an equation as the area of a rectangle is 120 square meters. Alright, form an equation. Problem number 1 says form an equation and solve for x. How do we solve for x? We already know that the area is already equal to 120 meters square. Alright, but and the formula for finding the area is equal to length times width. Alright, we have our length here, and we have our length width here, and we have our area here. All we have to do is to apply it. So we have area is 120 is equal to, what is our length? Our length is 6x, right? 6x times our width here is x, correct? Now all we have to do is 120 is equal to 6x times x. That becomes 6x squared, and then divide divide both sides by 6. That would equal to x squared over what? 120. Give me a sec. Okay, I changed the area into 150 to make it easier. Alright, so this should be 150. Alright, 150. Alright, now let's try. Now, so area is equal to 150, and 150 is equal to 6x times x. That would equal to 6x squared. Alright, and then divide both sides by 6. We will have 25 here. 150 divided by 6 is equal to 25. Alright, now square root of 25 and square root of x squared, that would equal to plus minus 5. But since there's no negative dimension, so the answer here should be x is equal to 5. Alright, next it says here, solve the equation to find the length of the rectangle. Basically all we have to do is to since this is our length, right? That's our length. All we have to do is substitute 5 there. So we have 6 times 5 centimeter, which is equal to 30 centimeter. That's the length of your rectangle. Alright, okay, let's try this one here. Evaluate the square root of 64 plus the square root of 49. We know the square root of 64 is 8 plus the square root of 49, that is 7. So 8 plus 7 is equal to 15. Alright, so all you have to do is just to memorize all the square roots or the perfect square under 1. So let's say for example the volume is given. Alright, this cuboid's volume is given. Find the, let's say, the missing length. Alright, the formula for the volume is length times width times what? Times height, right? Our volume is already 120, so that is 120 times what? Length is 8, height is 5, and your width is not given, which is equal to, let's say this is times width. We both know that 120 is equal to 8 times 5 is equal to 40 width, correct? Divide both sides by 40, divide both sides by 40, you're left with 3. Alright, that means 3 meters. Your width is 3 meters. This is 3 meters. Now let's check if that is actually correct. 3 times 5 times 8 is equal to 40, times 3 is equal to 120. So basically your answer is correct. Alright, let's try to answer the following question here. This is what we call squaring binomials. Alright, and we have the following step that we need to follow, and those are square the first term, multiply the first term and second term, and by 2, and then square the last term. Let's check this one out now. So we have square the first term, which is equal to 5x, alright, and then that's square, and then multiply the plus the product of first term, second term, and 2. So that means 5 times 5x times the second term, which is 2, and then another 2, correct? Plus squaring the last term, which is equal to 2. Now let's try to simplify. 5x squared is equal to 25x squared. Multiply this is equal to 20x, and then 4. That's your answer for this question. Next, following the steps again, square the first term, which is equal to 2x, plus multiply the first term, second term, and 2 to each other. So we have first term, second term, and 2, and then plus squaring the last term. Our last term is 4 and it's squared, and then simplify 2x, all of them squared, that is 4x squared, correct? And then multiply all of this to each other, that's equal to 16x, alright, plus square of this equal to another 16. That's your answer for this question. So okay, so if you're given a problem like this, for example, and then they are asking you to find the value of x, let's say find x, right? Find x. The first thing that we need to do is to find the sum of all angles inside a pentagon. That looks like a pentagon, right? Yeah, it's a pentagon. Now, how many sides do we have here? What formula are we gonna use? Sum of all angles inside a pentagon is equal to 180 times n minus 2. So our number of sides here is 5 minus 2 and times 180, which is equal to 180 times 3. That is our sum angles inside, that is equal to 540. Sum angle inside is 540. Next, all we have to do is add all of this and equate to 540, right? So which is x plus 3x plus 2x plus what? 3x minus 10 plus 100 is equal to 540. Now, all of this is equal to 9x minus 9 plus 90 is equal to 540 minus 90 both sides. So we have 9x is equal to 450. Divide both sides by 9 x is equal to 50. Alright, so the value of x here is 50 degrees. That's it. That's how to find the value of x there. Alright? Alright, grade 8. I hope you learned a lot today, and good luck on your exam on Monday. Please revise the other videos that I've sent as well over the past few weeks.